So, what if the survival of your entire species rested on a single handshake? Today, we're diving into the incredible, high-stakes climax of C.J. Cherryh's novel, Inheritor. It's a story where one man's personal loyalty is literally the only thing standing in the way of an all-out war between two species light years from Earth.
All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at the fragile peace on this alien world. Then, we'll see how two massive storms converge to shatter it, pushing our hero to a point of no return. We'll dig into the heavy cost of his commitment. And finally, we'll see what it really means to find your place as an inheritor in this wild new world.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're on a world where humanity is just a tiny, isolated group. Their entire existence, their survival, hinges on this super delicate political balance with the native species. A balance that, could snap at any second.
Now, at the very heart of this story is a very unique job title, the paidhi. And this is so much more than just a translator. This person is the one, single, official bridge between two completely different species. It's a role with immense cultural weight and, as we're about to find out, immense personal danger.
The guy in this hot seat is our protagonist, Bren Cameron. And it's not just that he has the job. He has this deep, personal connection with the most powerful alien on the planet, Tabini. We're not talking about a simple boss-employee dynamic here. This relationship is the actual foundation holding up interstellar peace. And here's where things get really interesting, because there's this fundamental gap in how they see the world. For us humans, peace can just be, well, the absence of fighting, a passive state. But for the aliens, the Cherryh, oh no, there is no neutral ground. You're either formally allied through a binding loyalty they call association, or you are, by definition, an enemy. There is absolutely no in-between. So you can probably guess what's coming. This fragile peace, yeah, it's about to be shattered. And not by one crisis, but by two massive storms hitting at the exact same time.
Just try to put yourself in the ruler Tabini's shoes for a second. From the inside, a political rival is making a violent play for your throne. And at the exact same time from the outside, a ship packed with unknown humans just drops out of the sky, threatening to completely upend the delicate treaty your whole world is built on. It's an absolute perfect storm of chaos.
And remember that whole Atavi concept of association? Well, this is where it really bites. Because Bren is loyal to Tabini, he isn't seen as some neutral human observer. Nope. To Tabini's enemies, he's a piece on the chessboard, a key ally of their target. And that makes him a target too.
And this brings us to the absolute heart of the story. This is that moment where all the theory and diplomacy just goes out the window and a hard choice has to be made. A choice with consequences you can never take back. This is the moment of truth for Bren. He gets it. That idea of being a detached, objective interpreter, that's a luxury he just can't afford anymore. The war has come right to his doorstep, and trying to stay in the middle is just the fastest way to get crushed. So what does he do? He drops the pretense of neutrality and goes all in. He formally, fully commits to Tabini's side. And that act, it earns him an incredible amount of trust and power. But it's a huge gamble, because if Tabini falls, Bren and all of humanity falls right along with him. And that decision changes everything. Like instantly. Bren's job is no longer about translating words. It's about surviving a war that he has now actively chosen to be a part of. You know all the whispers in hallways and the political backstabbing? That's over. Now we're talking armies, weapons, and actual battles. The abstract threat is now a very real, very violent reality for a man who has trained his whole life to be a scholar, not a soldier. And this is where we really see him evolve. He's not just advising anymore, he's making strategic calls that have life or death consequences. His very survival now hinges on this incredibly deep bond with his alien bodyguards, a trust forged in the heat of battle. And his greatest weapon? It's not a gun. It's his deep, intimate understanding of the alien mindset, which he now uses to outthink and outmaneuver his enemies. Which, of course, forces us to ask a really critical question. When an interpreter has to order lethal force to protect his side, has he crossed a line? Is he still a diplomat, or has he become something else entirely, both in the eyes of his own people and the aliens he's now fighting for? Okay, so after all of that conflict, all of those impossible choices, how does this thing end? Let's take a look at how the war gets resolved and what kind of future gets built from its ashes. Well, after a desperate, nail-biting, high-stakes confrontation,
Bren's gamble pays off. Big time. His loyalty, his strategy, his use of cultural knowledge, it works. Tabini wins, the rival is defeated, and the crisis is finally over. It is such a deeply satisfying victory, and one that was earned through immense sacrifice.
So, what do we take away from all this? Well, Bren's journey teaches us some pretty powerful lessons. It shows us that sometimes being neutral just isn't an option. That the strongest bonds, believe it or not, are forged not in peacetime, but in a shared crisis. And that an outsider, through sheer commitment, can become a truly essential pillar of the society they've adopted.
In the end, the safety of the entire human species on this planet isn't guaranteed by some treaty or a fleet of starships. It's guaranteed by the deep, personal, and now unbreakable bond of association between one man, Bren Cameron, and the alien ruler, Tabini. Trust became their ultimate shield.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. A lasting peace that rests entirely on the relationship between two individuals. Is that an incredibly fragile system, just one heartbeat away from total collapse? Or is it actually proof that the most powerful force in the universe is the trust one person can build with another, no matter what species they are?